These NFL players peaked too early, and after their rookie years, they never reached those heights again. Starting with Vince Young. Vince Young played the best college championship game of all time. His Texas Longhorns upset the dominant USC Trojans 41-38 when Young scampered into the right corner of the end zone on 4th and 5 with 19 seconds left to play. As the confetti swirled in the Pasadena air, Young had finished with 467 total yards and 3 touchdowns in a performance for the ages. The Tennessee Titans loved Young so much that owner Bud Adams selected him 3rd overall in the 2006 draft, bringing the hometown hero to Nashville. Young's rookie campaign delivered solid production. He threw for 2,199 yards with 12 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, while just completing 51.5% of his throws. But his dual threat ability made him special, as he scrambled for 552 yards at 6.7 yards per carry and 7 rushing TDs. Though Tennessee started 0-2, Young led them on a 6-game winning streak and finished 8-5 as a starter, earning Offensive Rookie of the Year along with the Pro Bowl selection. At just 23 years old, he looked like the franchise quarterback Tennessee desperately needed. Then psychological problems and throwing woes derailed everything. In 2007, Young threw just 9 touchdowns against 17 interceptions despite leading the Titans to the playoffs. His completion percentage improved, but he never transitioned into a pure passer. After throwing 2 interceptions in the 2008 season opener, fans booed him mercilessly. Young appeared unwilling to take the field midway through the 4th quarter, then injured his knee 4 plays after returning. Young rebounded in 2009, going 8-2 as a starter and earning another Pro Bowl, but his 2010 meltdown sealed his fate. Following a loss to Washington, Young threw his shoulder pads into the sand, stormed out the stadium without talking to the media, and reportedly told Fisher, "I'm not running out on my teammates, I'm running out on you." Tennessee released him in July of 2011. Philadelphia then signed him as Michael Vick's backup, where he infamously made the Dream Team comment that haunted the underachieving Eagles. Buffalo gave him one final shot in 2012, but cut him after erratic preseason play. Over 6 NFL seasons, Young compiled a 31-19 record as a starter with 8,964 passing yards, 46 touchdowns, and 51 interceptions. For the most hyped dual-threat quarterback of his generation and a former 3rd overall pick, Vince Young's career was extremely disappointing, never getting that long-term mega deal because of his inconsistent play. Someone else who never got that massive extension was RG3. The Washington Redskins traded 3 first-round picks to move up and draft RG3 2nd overall. The hype was massive. Griffin just won the Heisman at Baylor, becoming a dual-threat quarterback, explosive athlete, and the future of the position. His rookie season delivered on every promise: 3,200 passing yards, 20 passing TDs, and just 5 interceptions. Add 815 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns, and he won Offensive Rookie of the Year, made the Pro Bowl, posted a 102.4 passer rating, and the Redskins then went 10-6 and made the playoffs for the first time since 2007. Mike Shanahan's offense is built around Griffin's legs, read option on every other play. Do you crash the end and give Griffin the edge? Or do you stay home and let Alfred Morris gas you up the middle? Someone we'll get to a little bit later. The scheme is revolutionary for 2012. Griffin is faster than linebackers, more elusive than safeties, and just accurate enough to punish defenses that load the box. The playoff game against Seattle is where everything changes. 4th quarter, Redskins trailing, Griffin drops back, plants his leg, and his knee buckles. He already had sprained his LCL from earlier in the season, and Shanahan kept playing him anyway. Now the ACL completely tears. Griffin crumbles, the season ends, and the career trajectory shifts. 2013 arrives, Griffin comes back, but the mobility is gone. He can't explode out of cuts, and the read option doesn't work when the quarterback can't threaten the edge. Defenses adjust, they spy Griffin and force him to throw from the pocket, and suddenly, the limitations show. 16 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and the Redskins go 3-13. Shanahan gets fired after 2013, Jay Gruden takes over, with a new offense, new terminology, and Griffin struggles to adapt. 2014, 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in 9 games, he loses the starting job to Colt McCoy and then Kirk Cousins. By 2015, Griffin is a 3rd-string quarterback, and Washington cuts him after the season. He signs with Cleveland in 2016, he starts 5 games, breaks his shoulder, and is out for the year. He bounces to Baltimore as a backup in 2018, throws basically no passes, and by 2020, he's done. Nearly a third of his career production came in his rookie year. And the same could be said for the Bengals legend, Ickey Woods. The Cincinnati Bengals drafted a running back out of UNLV in the 2nd round. Not many knew who he was at the time, but by the end of the season, everybody knew the dance. Woods rushed for 1,066 yards as a rookie, 15 rushing touchdowns, and the Bengals made the Super Bowl. And after every touchdown, Woods does the Ickey Shuffle, a little shimmy in the end zone, and it became a cultural phenomenon. Woods becomes a household name not just because of his play, but also because of the celebration. The Bengals lost the Super Bowl to the 49ers by 4 points. Joe Montana drives in the final minutes. John Taylor catches the game winner with 34 seconds left. The Bengals were one stop away from a championship. Woods finishes the game with 79 rushing yards, solid but not dominant. Still, the future looks bright. A rookie running back who just rushed for over 1,000 yards and scored 15 touchdowns. The offensive line is intact, the offense is built around the run, and Woods should have a decade-long career ahead of him. Then 1989 happened. Week 2 against the Steelers, Woods tears his ACL. Season over, and he comes back in 1990, but he's not the same. The explosion is gone, the cuts aren't as sharp, and he rushes for 268 yards the entire season. 1991, 97 yards, and by 1992, he retired. Career rushing total, 1,525 yards. 70% came in his rookie season. The injury robbed him, and he was never the same again. And from one running back to another, we have Alfred Morris. Alfred Morris had the greatest season for a running back in Washington franchise history. The 6th-round pick out of Florida Atlantic was selected 173rd overall in the 2012 draft with minimal expectations, but he immediately became a workhorse for the Redskins' zone blocking scheme alongside rookie RG3. His rookie campaign was nothing short of spectacular. Morris rushed for 1,613 yards on 335 carries, averaging 4.8 yards per attempt and scoring 13 touchdowns. Those 1,613 rushing yards are the 4th most in NFL history for a rookie, trailing only Eric Dickerson, George Rogers, and Ezekiel Elliott. He was the engine behind Washington's 7-game winning streak that captured the NFC East and propelled them into the playoffs. Morris earned second-team All-Pro honors and finished 5th in Offensive Rookie of the Year voting, though he was overshadowed by Griffin's electrifying season. But that would be as good as it got. Morris rushed for over 1,000 yards in 2013 and 2014, posting 1,275 yards and 1,074 yards respectively, while earning 2 Pro Bowl selections. However, his production steadily declined as Washington's offensive line deteriorated and the team shifted towards a pass-heavy attack led by Kirk Cousins. In 2015, his final season with Washington, Morris managed just 751 yards on 202 carries as the franchise moved on from him. After departing from Washington, Morris became a journeyman backup. He spent 2 seasons in Dallas behind Ezekiel Elliott, then bounced between San Francisco, Arizona, and the Giants. Over 9 NFL seasons, Morris compiled 6,173 rushing yards and 35 touchdowns. For a 6th-round pick who burst onto the scene with 1,613 yards, Alfred Morris never recaptured that magic and remains a classic case of peaking too early. Another running back who peaked too soon was Cadillac Williams. An all-time name, just an okay player. Cadillac Williams entered the NFL as one of the most hyped running back prospects in recent memory. The Auburn star was selected 5th overall by the Tampa Bay Bucks in the 2005 draft after a spectacular college career where he only trailed Bo Jackson in school rushing yards. Williams had elite athleticism, explosive speed, and the kind of production that made him a consensus top 5 pick, alongside fellow Auburn back Ronnie Brown, who went 2nd overall. His rookie season delivered on every bit of the hype. Williams rushed for 1,178 yards and 6 touchdowns on 290 carries. He made NFL history by becoming the first player to ever start his career with 3 consecutive 100-yard rushing games, accumulating 434 yards in those 3 games. Williams earned a Pro Bowl trip and won Offensive Rookie of the Year. At just 23 years old, he looked destined for perennial Pro Bowl selections and a dominant career. Then the injuries started piling up. In 2006, Williams managed 798 yards, but his explosiveness seemed diminished. A torn patellar tendon in 2007 limited him to just 4 games and 208 yards. He returned in 2008, but shortly after coming off the PUP list, he tore the tendon again, this time in the other knee, effectively derailing his career. Williams put together a solid 2009 comeback season with 823 yards and 7 total touchdowns, but he was eventually phased out by Tampa. After one forgettable season with the Rams in 2011 where he rushed for 361 yards, his NFL career was over. Over 7 seasons, Williams compiled just 4,038 rushing yards and 21 touchdowns, a disappointing total for a 5th overall pick who burst onto the scene with such promise. In switching NFC South teams, we have the Panthers with Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin entered the NFL as one of the most physically gifted receiver prospects in recent memory. The Carolina Panthers selected him 28th overall in the 2014 draft after a dominant season at Florida State, where he showcased elite athleticism at 6'5", 245 pounds with smooth hands and the ability to line up anywhere on the field. He looked like the perfect complement to Cam Newton's cannon arm. His rookie season validated the hype. Benjamin caught 73 passes for 1,008 yards and 9 touchdowns across 16 games, becoming one of the few receivers to ever eclipse 1,000 yards in their rookie season. He looked like Carolina's offensive centerpiece for years to come, and at just 23 years old, the future seemed limitless. Then everything fell apart. Benjamin tore his ACL during the 2015 training camp, ending a season before it began. The injury would prove to be a turning point in his career. When he returned in 2016, Benjamin posted 941 yards and 7 touchdowns. Solid production, but nothing close to his rookie dominance. Weight became a persistent issue, with reports surfacing that he showed up to off-season workouts overweight. Coach Ron Rivera expressed concern publicly, though general manager Dave Gettleman defended him, calling the criticism much ado about nothing. In 2017, Benjamin's relationship with Cam Newton deteriorated. He played 8 games for Carolina, catching 32 passes for 475 yards and 2 touchdowns before being traded to Buffalo mid-season. The change of scenery didn't help, as he managed just 16 catches for 217 yards in 6 games with Bills. His 2018 season was disastrous, catching only 23 passes for 354 yards with Buffalo before being traded to Kansas City, where he was just targeted 5 times in 3 games. Benjamin later criticized Cam Newton's accuracy and knowledge of the game in interviews, creating tension between the former teammates. A tense pre-game interaction before a 2018 preseason game captured their fractured relationship, with Benjamin admitting he wasn't even trying to listen to Newton. By 2019, Benjamin was out of the league at 28 years old. Over 4 NFL seasons, he racked up 3,021 receiving yards and 20 touchdowns. Sad numbers from the perennial Pro Bowler his rookie season had promised. And staying in the NFC South again, we have Marshon Lattimore. Marshon Lattimore entered the NFL as one of the most polished cornerbacks we've ever seen. The New Orleans Saints selected him 11th overall in the 2017 draft after his breakout season at Ohio State, where he showcased elite athleticism at 6 foot and the kind of technical precision that had scouts drooling. His rookie season was insane. Lattimore recorded 52 tackles, 5 interceptions including 1 for a touchdown, and 18 pass deflections across 13 games. He became a lockdown corner immediately, earning Pro Bowl honors and winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. At just 21 years old, Lattimore looked destined for perennial All-Pro selections and a Hall of Fame career. The Saints had found their franchise cornerback. Then the inconsistency and injuries took over. Lattimore made 3 Pro Bowls between 2019 and 2021, showing flashes of his rookie brilliance, but he was never quite the same dominant force. In 2022, he played just 7 games due to injuries, and in 2023, a high ankle sprain limited him to 10 games, and he missed the remainder of the season after being placed on IR. Over the past 2 seasons alone, Lattimore has missed 19 games due to various soft tissue injuries before the big one happened this year. The Saints traded Lattimore to Washington in November of 2024 for a 3rd, 4th, and 6th round pick, a clear indication they'd seen enough. In Washington, the decline has been stark. In the few games he played in 2025, Lattimore was inconsistent at best, either decent or completely toast, with no in between. And in 2026, he was even worse. Then he suffered a torn ACL in Week 9 against Seattle, ending his season and raising serious questions about his future. Lattimore is a shell of the Defensive Rookie of the Year who burst onto the scene in 2017. Finally, getting out of the NFC South, we have someone hated in the city of Philadelphia in Kiko Alonso. Kiko Alonso entered the NFL as one of the most instinctive linebackers coming out of college. The Buffalo Bills selected him 46 overall in the 2nd round of the 2013 draft after a standout season at Oregon, where he showcased his relentless motor and the kind of playmaking ability that had teams excited about his potential as a 3-down backer. His rookie season was amazing. Alonso recorded 159 tackles, the 3rd most in the NFL, along with 4 interceptions, 4 pass deflections, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 sacks across 16 games. He played almost every single defensive snap for Buffalo, becoming the engine of their defense and earning Pro Bowl consideration. Alonso came 2nd in Defensive of the Year voting. At just 23 years old, he looked like he'd enjoy a dominant career anchoring Buffalo's defense for years to come. Then the injury train ruined everything. Alonso tore his ACL in 2014, missing the entire season and never quite regaining that rookie explosiveness. Before he could prove himself again in Buffalo, Chip Kelly traded running back LaShawn McCoy to acquire Alonso for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2015. The move was widely criticized, and Alonso did nothing to justify it, playing just 11 games with only 1 start, recording 43 tackles and 1 interception before being shipped to Miami. In Miami, Alonso had his best post-rookie season in 2016, recording 115 tackles, 2 interceptions, including 1 return for a touchdown. He followed that with 115 tackles again in 2017, showing glimpses of his rookie form. But in 2018, despite posting 125 tackles and 3 interceptions, Alonso became more known for controversy than production. Most notably, his vicious late hit on sliding Joe Flacco that drew widespread criticism and a suspension. The Dolphins traded Alonso to New Orleans in 2019, where he appeared in just 13 games with only 4 starts, recording 31 tackles as a backup. The Saints brought him back for 1 training camp in 2020, but after that single session, Alonso decided to hang it up. He had 588 total tackles and 10 interceptions in his career. At 29 years old, Kiko was unable to recapture that lightning in a bottle season. Now, Trent Richardson is known as one of the biggest busts in NFL history, but it didn't start out that way. Trent Richardson came into the NFL with as much hype as any running back prospect in 15 years. The Alabama product dominated college football, racking up over 3,000 rushing yards and 35 touchdowns while helping the Crimson Tide capture 2 BCS national titles. The Cleveland Browns were so convinced he was their franchise cornerstone that they traded 4 picks in Minnesota to jump from 4th to 3rd overall in the 2012 draft. Richardson's first year showed real promise. He carried the ball 267 times for 950 yards and 11 touchdowns while adding 51 receptions for 367 yards and another score. The production looked solid on paper, and Cleveland seemed to have their workhorse back to build around for their next decade. But beneath those numbers, serious red flags were waving. Richardson's 3.6 yards per carry was alarmingly low for a top 3 pick, and his inability to find running lanes became increasingly apparent. After 2 disastrous performances to open 2013, Cleveland cut their losses, shipping him to Indianapolis for a first-round pick after just 31 carries. The change of scenery solved nothing. Richardson averaged a pathetic 2.9 yards per carry in 14 games with the Colts in 2013, rushing for just 458 yards. His 2014 campaign was barely better at 3.3 yards per attempt and 519 yards. Indianapolis released him after 2 forgettable seasons. Oakland gave him a shot in 2015, but Richardson couldn't crack the roster. Baltimore tried the same in 2016 with identical results, keeping him on the PUP list before cutting him loose. Over 3 NFL seasons, Richardson managed just 2,032 rushing yards on 614 carries with a career 3.3 yards per carry average. For a player drafted 3rd overall with generational talent comparisons, Trent Richardson stands out as one of the biggest NFL busts in history. Someone who started out so great and has now kind of become a laughingstock is Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner was supposed to be that guy. The Cincinnati product had elite athleticism at 6'3", 190 pounds, and was a consensus top 5 pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. The New York Jets selected him 4th overall with expectations he'd become their next great cornerback and anchor the defense for years to come. His rookie season even exceeded all those crazy expectations. Gardner recorded 51 solo tackles, 24 assists, and 2 interceptions for 19 yards across 17 games. What made it even more impressive was his coverage stats. Opposing quarterbacks completed just 46 of 86 targets against him for 452 yards, a 53.5% completion percentage, and 62.7 passer rating when throwing his direction, earning Pro Bowl honors and winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. At just 22 years old, he was arguably the best corner in the league. But that would be as good as it got. In 2023, Gardner earned another Pro Bowl and another All-Pro selection with 41 solo tackles and 11 passes defended, but he didn't record a single interception. The playmaking ability from his rookie year seemed to vanish. In 2024, his production declined further with just 36 solo tackles, 9 passes defended, and 1 interception across 15 games. The Jets felt comfortable enough to trade him to Indianapolis in 2025 for 2 first-round picks and receiver Adonai Mitchell, a stunning move for a 25-year-old former Defensive Rookie of the Year. In Indianapolis, Gardner has been solid but unspectacular. Through the 4 games he played with the Colts, he recorded 13 solo tackles and 3 passes defended with 0 interceptions. At 25 years old, now entering his next season, Gardner remains the same player he was as a rookie, just without the elite playmaking that defined his debut and with more penalties. He's never developed beyond his natural gifts, and for a guy drafted 4th overall who's called the best corner in football as a rookie, Sauce Gardner has been a disappointment who simply refuses to evolve his game. And lastly, we have CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud entered the NFL as one of the most polished quarterback prospects in recent memory. The Houston Texans selected him 2nd overall in the 2023 draft after his Heisman Trophy caliber season at Ohio State, and expectations were sky high for the young signal caller who looked NFL ready from day one. His rookie campaign validated every bit of the hype. Stroud threw for 4,108 yards and 23 touchdowns against just 5 interceptions, posting a 100.8 passer rating. He became just a 5th rookie quarterback to ever eclipse 4,000 passing yards and led the league in passing yards per game at 274. What made it even more impressive was his touchdown to interception ratio at 23-5, something only Joe Montana and Tom Brady had accomplished. Stroud earned Pro Bowl honors and had won Offensive Rookie of the Year while leading Houston to a 9-7 record in their first playoff appearance in years. In the postseason, he threw for 274 yards and 3 touchdowns in a dominant wildcard victory over Cleveland, looking like a franchise quarterback who'd anchor the Texans for a decade. Then everything fell apart. In 2024, Stroud regressed drastically. Despite having Pro Bowl teammates and left tackle Laremy Tunsil, running back Joe Mixon, and receiver Nico Collins, he threw for just 3,727 yards and 20 touchdowns, while his interceptions more than doubled to 12. His passer rating plummeted to 87 and the offense became inconsistent. The biggest issue was pass protection, and Stroud absorbed 52 sacks, 2nd most in the NFL, and he was pressured on 38.6% of his dropbacks. The offensive line struggled with defensive stunts and twists, leading to 52 unblocked pressures. Under offensive coordinator Bobby Sloak, the offense averaged a league-low 7.5 points per second half and went 6 straight weeks without scoring an offensive touchdown. The Texans fired Sloak and traded away Laremy Tunsil in the offseason, but that didn't help. The 2025 season brought no relief. Through 14 games, Stroud completed just 64.5% of his passes for 3,041 yards and 19 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. His playoff performances were disastrous, throwing 5 interceptions in 2 games, including 4 picks and a humiliating 28-16 loss to New England. Stroud became the first player in NFL playoff history with 5+ interceptions and 5+ fumbles in a single postseason. Stroud's reputation was done. At 24 years old, he's kind of the same player he was as a rookie, but now just older, more battered, and never recaptured that magic from the first season. He's up for a new extension this offseason, but I doubt he'll get it. And so there you have it, the players who peaked as a rookie. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you're new.